Hello, you guys, and I am finally back. I got back from Korea about 3 weeks ago, maybe 3.5 weeks ago. I actually got back on the 15th of November, so it's been about 3 weeks. God, it's actually been almost like a month already. But I want to get on here and talk to you guys a little bit about my experience going to Korea and getting my vocal feminization surgery. At this point right now, I am about, I would say, almost 5 weeks post-op from having my surgery. And I barely started talking about, God, I would say 4 or 5 days ago. Let me just start off by saying really that I knew that this surgery was not going to be an instant type of thing. I knew that it was going to take a while to heal. I knew that I wasn't going to be able to talk for an entire month. And I also knew that I wasn't going to get the instant gratification of starting to speak again and having a very high pitch or having a very, very, very feminine voice. So I definitely will say that I mentally prepared myself for that. And I know that probably a lot of you listening right now are saying, oh my God, you sound exactly the same, or I don't hear a difference, or whatever. And I would be lying if I said that I didn't think the same thing. But at the same time, again, it's gonna be a long process. I was told by Dr. Kim that it would take about 2 to 4 months for my pitch to improve. It would take 2 to 4 months for my voice to settle, and the pitch actually changes overall over the course of a year. Your voice changes over the course of a year. So I know it's going to be a long process, and as far as what my voice sounds like right now, I do feel and I do notice a slight difference. I mean, my voice is pretty much very similar to what it was if you go back in my other videos and you listen to those as comparison to now. Pretty much the same. The difference though that I notice is that I don't have the vibrating heavy chest voice coming from here anymore. So I definitely feel like my voice is softer. The tone is a little bit less aggressive, and I can't really be upset or disappointed at that because it's so soon after the surgery. I just started speaking not too long ago, and for what it is so far, I am excited. I'm staying optimistic about it. I'm excited that at least there's somewhat of a little difference, and that's all I can really say as far as my current voice goes. So if you guys watched my vlog, I showed you guys like the whole trip, the fly, where I stayed at, blah, 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 the whole process leading up to the surgery. But I want to talk to you guys about the aftercare and stuff like that. So I woke up from surgery, and I think I had gone in at 8 a.m. to have my surgery. It was under general anesthesia, which I was not aware of. You guys, I didn't do my proper research when it came to that. I always was just under the impression that it was going to be local anesthetic. I don't know why. I've only had one surgery before under general anesthesia, and I would be lying if I said that it didn't scare me a little bit, because it does. But obviously that wasn't going to stop me. It was just a bit of a surprise in the moment, but obviously that's something I should have asked before flying to another country to have such a procedure done. So immediately when I woke up obviously, sorry, my voice is getting a little bit kind of croaky. So when I woke up, I obviously was in my room at Yazon, and they immediately fed me some pumpkin soup, and I just could feel the pain in my throat. It just felt like a very, very severe sore throat when I would swallow. It wasn't like a neutral kind of pain. It was just more so present when I would swallow. So it wasn't terrible, it wasn't awful, but what I will say that I was bothered by a bit was I had swelling on my tongue, which I was told would happen and would subside. It could take a few days or up to a couple of weeks. And for me, I had tongue swelling for, God, almost like an entire month. Like even a week ago, I could still feel it like on the tip of my tongue. So that's the only thing I could say that really bothered me, as far as recovering and stuff. Other than that, I didn't feel any pain or any discomfort physically. They monitored me for a little bit of time, for a few hours, and then finally I was able to go back to my hotel room. Well, when I got up and I was putting my clothing on, I felt like I was really, really warm. I started sweating. I almost felt like I was having a severe, severe hot flash. But at the same time, I was getting kind of lightheaded and dizzy. So I asked I asked Jessie. Oh my God, I can't believe I just said her name wrong. I asked Jessie, the girl who I was dealing with there, Dr. Kim's, head person. I asked her if they could take me back to my hotel room, and she said that they would do that. So they were kind enough to give me a ride back to my hotel room, and, so I could, go back to my room, sleep, get some rest. Now, one of the things that I remember that still to this day kind of makes me smile, even though it wasn't too long ago, but it's just something that meant a lot to me, and I really appreciated it in the moment. Again, mind you, I traveled by myself. I've been to another country alone, but I've never gone to another country under such circumstances to have, surgery done. And so I felt very alone, and I felt I wouldn't say that I was scared. I just felt very lonely. I didn't tell many people about my surgery prior to having it. So it was kind of like this little thing that only a couple of people knew, and I kept to myself. And now I'm traveling to a whole other country I don't know about to have a procedure done. So I felt very alone. But a little bit before my surgery, when I was changing my clothing to get into this little robe thingy that I was going to be having the surgery in, I remember the nurse, one of Dr. Kim's nurses there, who took my blood pressure and stuff like that. She was really, really sweet, really kind. My hair was kind of a mess because it was so early in the morning, and all I did was put it in a bun, and I had hair all over my face. And I remember I was laying on the hospital, the little hospital bed or whatever, and she started braiding my hair. She was like, "Oh, sit up." And I was like, "Okay." And she sat behind me and she started braiding my hair. And she was rubbing my shoulders a little bit. I think she could tell that I was a little bit nervous and I didn't really have anybody with me. So that was a very small act of kindness that I don't really think that she knew what that meant for me. But in the moment, it was really just a warm feeling. And so it almost makes me want to cry thinking about it, because I was by myself, and just to have that little kind of comfort meant so much to me and kind of put me at ease. I just felt like I was in really good hands, I was going to be taken care of. So anyways, fast forwarding, I go back to my hotel room. I pretty much stayed in my room for the entire time that I was there. The only thing I would leave my hotel room for was to go grab food. I was not able to speak. I still had a bit of a sore throat. My tongue was swollen. I was taking medication. I was really tired, So I pretty much just stayed in my room, texted with friends, watched movies. I was eating a lot. I actually gained a few pounds in that week that I was there. And it was just a nice period to be alone. And I am glad that I did go by myself in a way, because when you're refraining from speaking, the last thing you want to do is to be in company. At least for myself personally, I didn't want to be in company with anybody, because I wouldn't have been a good time. I wasn't able to converse. I wasn't able to really convey what I wanted to say or how I was feeling. So toughing it out by myself, I think in the long run, or looking back in hindsight, I should say, was a good thing, because not only did I get used to not speaking, but I was also a preview of what was going to come when I would come back to the States and not be able to speak. Now, coming back from Korea back to the US, that was a little bit challenging just because you have to go through customs and you get patted down and all these different things. And not speaking, I had to have like my little paper ready. And so it was definitely challenging. It was a little bit frustrating. It wasn't crazy like annoying or anything. I survived and I did the best that I could. Um, and so you know, I was fine with it. Once I came back home, I pretty much for the entire next 3 weeks didn't do anything. Like, I was just really here at home. I didn't exercise. You're not allowed to exercise the first month. You're not allowed to drink liquor for 3 months after your surgery. You're not allowed to drink coffee or caffeine for 2 months. No spicy food. So I was just very mindful and trying to really recover the best that I could. I got a lot of sleep. I was constantly drinking aloe vera with water, which really soothed my throat. And I just kind of had like in my mind that this was healing. So I was constantly just drinking water all day long and just trying to heal as best that I could. I had a couple of friends take me out for dinner a few nights. I had one of my other friends who's my coworker. She took me out to dinner, took me to the movies. We went to the movies like 2 or 3 times within my, 3 week recovery time. It was something to do, get out of the house. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, after my surgery, you guys, I failed to say this earlier, but after my surgery, a week later, on my post-op appointment, I actually got Botox injected into my vocal cords. And that's just to relax the muscles. And then I was told that 3 months after the Botox wears off, after my surgery, I was gonna have to start clozapine, which are, pill. It's a medicine in pill form, which is kind of like a muscle relaxer as well. I'm gonna have to do that for 4 months while I get adjusted to using my new voice and while my pitch keeps improving and stuff like that. So that was pretty much the process of that. I started work a week ago at almost exactly my 4 week period. Recovery time is when I started going back to work, and my voice gets a little bit sore, and once it does, like right now it's getting a little tiny bit dry sore. That's when I stop talking and I just kind of refrain and stay silent, let it heal, let it recover a little bit. I don't overdo it or anything. And yeah, so that was pretty much my entire experience, and this is what my voice sounds like almost after 5 weeks of having my feminization surgery with Dr. Kim at Yazon. And I will definitely keep you guys updated. I was a little hesitant to make this video. I was wondering if I should have just waited and made it at the 2 month mark when maybe perhaps I sounded a little bit better and was a little more healed and stuff like that. But I think it's only fair if I'm going to put something like this out there to give you guys the recovery process completely as transparently as I can. And yeah, so the cost for the surgery, and I know that's what a lot of people have asked me, is I paid $7,400 US plus $400 for Botox. My flight, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, was about $1,000 round trip. And no, I'm lying actually. My flight round trip was about $850. I remember when I originally looked for it, it was $1,000, but then I found another deal which was $850. And my hotel room was, I believe, $750 for 9 nights, which was not bad at all considering where I stayed at. I was in Seoul. I was in a very nice area. So, overall I ended up spending almost $10,000, but, it's something that I've been wanting to do for so long, you guys, and I think that I just don't want to bring my transition to a halt and just leave it there. I want to progress as much as I possibly can, and get all of these insecurities behind me. Funny enough, even though I'm so early in after my surgery and my voice doesn't exactly sound that perky, I have noticed that it just instantly has made me feel better about speaking so far. Just because I don't feel that heaviness here when I speak, that vibrating, aggressive, tone, whatever. So it's definitely, I'm hoping it just improves from here. I do start my exercises in another 3 weeks. They gave me a video and they gave me a few sheets with exercises to do every single day, which I'm going to start in about 3 weeks. I'm excited for that. And yeah, everybody who has been around me, who has heard me speak so far, has said that I sound softer. They're like, you definitely sound softer. And again, I'm not disappointed at that because I really, to be quite honest, wasn't expecting to hear any sort of difference. So I am kind of glad that that there has been somewhat of an improvement, as subtle and as little as it is. I'm just excited. So yeah, you guys, that was pretty much my experience going to Yazan, and I am just so excited. It honestly feels so far like a new chapter in my life, especially with the new year right around the corner. I'm just so excited. I would be lying if I said that November wasn't a very difficult month for me, and it was. I was extremely stressed out financially, emotionally. Not being able to speak was really, really hard. I had so much going on, and I still do. But when you don't have a voice to speak with and you can't really tell people what you're feeling, it is extremely frustrating. And sometimes you don't want to dilute your feelings with text messages. So I kind of just refrained from really expressing how I felt because, again, I didn't want to text anybody, this novel of how I was feeling in the moment. So when my friends would ask me, oh, how are you doing? I would be like, oh, I'm good. It's a little bit annoying, blah, 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 blah. I would write it down or I would text them. And so I kind of made light of the actual situation. But it wasn't as hard. Looking back in hindsight, it wasn't really as hard as I felt at the moment. I mean, maybe I'm saying that because it's all over and done with, but I mean, when it's something you really want, you're willing to put the effort in, and it just is what it is. I mean, that's part of the recovery process. So I'm excited and I can't wait to recover more and more and more, and just to see where my voice goes from here. And yeah, you guys, for my next video, I really, really want to do a question and answer type of video. I get really random questions all the time, like how old am I, where I'm from, like different what I think about certain topics. Like, I want you guys to put your questions that you have in the comments below so that I can do a Q&A video and I will answer all of your guys' questions. I just want to do like a random video where I just answer like really random things. I think it'll be a little bit fun. And yeah, so I hope you guys all are having a wonderful December. I'm so excited for Christmas. Me and my family are going to be doing like this, like, we're going to have like a pajama party. My brother's hosting it at his house. He's like, come over in pajamas. We're going to be cooking all day long on Christmas Eve. I actually have to work on Christmas Eve, but I only work a morning shift, like a quick morning shift. So I'll probably take a few clients in the morning and then head over to his house. I love wintertime, you guys. I love summertime too, but I just love wintertime. It's so cozy and romantic, and it's just such a happy time. It can be a little bit depressing as well if you get the holiday blues, which I have before. But I'm just really, really happy that it's wintertime. So Anyways, you guys, I will keep you all updated. Post your questions down below. Make sure you like this video. If you know of anyone who's wanting to get vocal surgery, send them this video, or they can watch any of my other videos prior to this. I don't really know if you guys notice a difference in my voice. I definitely feel it. I've been told that it sounds softer, but I want your guys' opinions on it. And just keep in mind that I was told by Dr. Kim as well and by Jessie to be patient, because it's not an overnight thing and it's not an instant thing either. So, because I did have one friend that was like, you sound exactly the same, like it didn't work. And I'm like, well, first of all, like I was told to be patient because in the beginning I might sound the same. So, with the exercises and the more you recover, and then once the Botox wears off, I mean, there's so many factors that go into your voice. It's not all about just, doing your vocal cords and your voice is automatically, you're going to sound like Paris Hilton or something, like a 16-year-old, Valley girl. But this is what it is, so I'm excited. Anyways, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate everyone's comments on all of my videos, everyone who sent me well wishes. I really appreciate it, you guys. And I will keep you all updated, and I love you guys so much. Thank you so much. I will see you soon.